excretion. It's just a scientific view of what happens when we have our food intake. So how it gets absorbed, what time is needed, which food has got more absorption time. Like it's a study of that. And we know that only with proper nutrition that we will be able to unlock our body's potential. Suppose I say, if both the parents are tall, we expect the child, like the offspring, to be also tall. But when he or she is not given the right nourishment, his body cannot show that full potential of height. We have seen children with stunted growth. Although their parents are taller, we can see the children who are having stunted growth. That is because when the proper nourishment is not given, body cannot produce that full potential. So to provide the full potential, to show its full potential, we need proper nourishment. And then now I think you got an idea what is nutrition is about. It's a science dealing with the study of the food intake. Now, what is the relation between nutrition and health? There is a vital link between health and nutrition. That's why when the COVID attack, we were talking more about the nutrition. See, when there is an infection, there is a chance of malnourishment. And when there is malnourishment, there is chances for infections. See, when we say the term malnourishment, what picture comes to your mind? Lack of nutrition. It's always deficiency that comes to your mind, right?
Yeah.
The picture of a skinny child comes to your mind.
Yeah.
No. Both mal means which is not the correct. Both overnourishment and undernourishment comes under this malnourishment. Think about the time when COVID attacked. There were increased risk of infections for obese people too. Diabetes people. They were the people who are having more trouble. So mal doesn't mean don't get that picture of skinny people. It is anything that is not correct. Over or under, such people have got more risk of infections. And when there is recurrent infections, there are chances for malnourishment too. And when we improve our diet, what happens to us? There is increased mental health, increased physical health. And we all know that physical and mental health, these are not two different entities, these are interdependent ones. If you are very physically fit, almost your 90% of your mental health also will be proper. Same way, if you are happy, your physical health will also be proper. So when we improve the diet, both of these aspects get improved. So just rewinding what we said about nutrition, what is the link between the nutrition and health, and what benefit we get when we improve our diet. These 3 points we looked into. Next, we are going to see about the balanced diet. As ma'am said, balanced diet is also a very common term used among us. So here you can see different food groups: cereals, vegetables and fruits, milk and milk products, non-vegetarians, and some dots on the top side. These are all food groups are arranged in a shape of a pyramid. So it is a food pyramid. Why not in a square or in a circle?
The one which is needed.
Yes. It is placed according to the requirement. And we know that in the shape of the pyramid, as we go to the upper side, it gets tapered and the area is very less. So whatever is needed in a very small quantity is placed on the top. Whatever is needed, a larger amount is placed towards the base. So in any diet, the major constituent will be this is for a normal person, okay. For each health conditions, it varies. For a normal adult person, you all know that the staple items, the staple food like the staple diet for each region varies. For us, it will be rice. For north, when we move, it will be chapatis, wheat, etc. So it is a staple diet, energy yielding food, provided on top of that protective foods, fruits and vegetables, and a source of protein, that is non-veg and milk, and on the top it is sugar and fat. very tasty. These are energy dense. So it is placed on the top. Okay, so I hope now you can read the food pyramid in a better way now. Okay. Okay, now we are putting this pyramid onto a normal plate. So the picture becomes much more clear to us. I think it is
Country to country, this balance is there.
Yes, the items and like for us, I told you it will be rice. For English people, it will be maybe cornflakes. The carbohydrate. The idea is to fill it with carbohydrate. The recipes or the item may vary from region to region. Inside in India itself, there will be wide variations. So now, for a better understanding, we are just transforming that food pyramid onto a plate. Okay. See, this is how we can very easy way to make the diet balanced. Just we should analyze whether we are following this. One portion of grains that we sow in the lower portion. Then one portion of vegetables, one portion of fruits, one portion of protein and a dairy. Don't think this arrangement is very complicated. Just think about the breakfast. How can we put that breakfast onto a plate? Just say.
Salad, and then it can be a bread.
Multi-grain bread, 2 to 3
Yeah,
slices.
and then
One omelette, protein.
Protein, cheese also,
Maybe cheese for the dairy.
dairy.
Okay.
and fruits.
Fruit, a
Can be
banana,
added. Yeah.
a vegetable, a salad, maybe a cucumber or any vegetable, or it can be a curry form. So it's not a big deal. It's as simple as it is. Okay, now we are talking not about what not to eat. We are talking about
What to eat.
what to eat. It's a good thing, right? It's a positive thing. Okay, suppose just plan the balanced diet for lunch. How will it be? We plan for breakfast.
Yes, ma'am. Protein will be there.
Dal,
Dal.
dal,
Then salad.
rice,
Salad,
rice,
Rice or roti.
curd,
Rice or roti.
Rice.
Rice or roti.
rice with roti. Also
then
is
we can
fine.
add also fruit, a whole fruit, a seasonal fruit, not a big costly thing.
Seasonal.
Seasonal fruit. Because as we go for seasonal fruit, what is the benefit?
It's like
No,
Cheaper.
not only cheaper, that depends upon the climate, nature is giving.
It is imbibed by the nature for us, for the people, and as per the weather condition. Okay, then because it is easily available, as we go for the longer distance fruits, that much amount of pesticides also will be there because
Yeah.
it have to be preserved. So that problem is not there. Fresh.
Organic.
Organic. Okay. So you understood the concept. Yeah, easily available. So it is as simple as this, not complicated. Okay, this is an easy way to analyze our own plates whether we are having a balanced diet. This is about balance. I told you this is for a normal person. When there are additional needs or when there is some disease condition, things vary. But normally this is done. Okay, so we understood for a normal person how to put food pyramid onto a plate to make it balanced. Now we'll go for sports nutrition. You all have a school team, right?
yeah.
You groom them. Okay. So why sports nutrition?
There.
Won't that be enough?
No. They spend
Their
too much
workout
of
is
energy.
more, depends upon their workout and event, and calories may be burned
Okay.
more.
Their needs are different. An athlete's need is different. That's why we combine the terms sports and nutrition. Otherwise, nutrition was enough.
Yes.
Okay, so we combine the term sports nutrition. The nutritional needs of a sports person differ from others. That is the reason for that. Next is this: eat according to your goals. Suppose I want to travel in my car to the nearby market. Maybe I will need 1 liter of petrol. If I'm having a plan to go to the next state, suppose I'm going to travel to Bangalore, will that 1 liter be enough?
No.
No. I should fill my car with enough.
50 liters.
Okay, this is the idea about sports nutrition. Now, if my aim is to travel to moon, I have to change the type, amount and everything.
The vehicle itself.
Vehicle itself have to change, right? So I cannot move with normal petrol. This is idea behind it. As you set your goals to very high, you have to eat accordingly. Because the only device a sports person has in his hand is
His body.
his body. It is this body that he's carrying to Olympics or whatever level it is. So to keep that body in a sharper condition, you have to maintain it. You have to nourish or fuel accordingly. So this is the concept about sports nutrition, basic concept. Now, what we are going to get, what an athlete gets when we focus on his diet is an increased immunity. Whatever preparation we does, if he gets an infection on that particular day, everything is gone, right? So increased immunity, increased energy, increased concentration, because not all the body, his brain should also work. There are many, not many, every sports need brain also. Enough concentration is needed. Increased confidence mood, increased coordination, decreased injury, increased performance, and increased fine motor skills, and increased lean body mass. These are the benefits that an athlete has when he focuses on it, diet. Now, sports nutrition can be defined as a study or application of nutritional knowledge to practical daily eating plan of an athlete. Whatever science we learn, unless and until we are not able to put it onto a plate, it's useless. Sports nutrition is the foundation of the athletic success. It supplies the right food type, energy, nutrients, fluids to keep the body well hydrated and functioning at peak levels. It's unique to each person. That is also different. We cannot say, we can just go through the guidelines as common, but for each individual, the needs are totally different. It varies according to their training schedule, depending upon their discipline, what type of event they are into. Everything matters for a diet plan. Now, let's see which are the major nutrients. You can say, you will be teaching your students and all. Which are the major nutrients?
Carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins,
Vitamins.
minerals,
Okay.
and
So
water.
we can just classify into macro and micro. Okay. Macro means, as the word suggests, macro, which is needed in larger amount. Micro, it is needed in the very lower amount. This carbohydrate, fat and protein comes under macro. It is needed in larger amount. Vitamins and minerals and water, it is needed in lower amount. Not water. Water is needed in larger amount. Vitamins and minerals needed in very little amount, but it is needed because its deficiency leads to diseases. Now, this is the three principles on which the sports nutrition works. First one is okay. What all changes happens to an athlete when he is on the ground? Just see. Just imagine. What happens? What all changes happens to him?
He sweats a lot, gets dehydrated.
Yes. Correct? Fatty. Why fatty?
Body becomes
Because lactic acid assimilation.
Yes, he is utilizing his energy. So it's like as we charge your mobile, when it is used for a longer time, the battery level comes down. So the energy is being spent, water, he is using water, then what else?
body becomes heat.
He is consuming.
Temperature, right? Body heat increases.
Temperature.
Too much of heat is being produced, okay.
Because of more sweat, dehydration. Because of more sweat, water loss, dehydration.
Along with water, some salt is being also lost, okay. Then anything else?
There is a chance of injuries without knowing. Like he might have injured himself.
Yes, that is correct. That's some wear and tear process going on, right? When we use a muscle, some wear and tear process will be going on. So the idea behind the sports nutrition is to restore the whatever changes has happened to an athlete into a normal condition. Then only the particular equipment can be used again. Okay, then only the particular equipment can be used again. So the terms refuel. Whatever fuel is being lost, it has to be refueled. Second is rehydrate.
Water loss.
Whatever has been spent on the ground has to be regained. Rebuild. Whatever wear and tear has happened, it has also to be rebuilt. This is the idea behind a proper recovery. So whatever changes has happened, we are restoring into the normal level. These are the three principles on which the sports nutrition works. Now we see how this refuel has to be done. The major nutrient that that plays in the refuel is carbohydrate. Why?
Energy giving food.
Yes, the basic function of carbohydrate is to give the energy. So when the energy is lost, what food will be benefiting? And only when we get carbohydrate back, we get the energy back. So, but nowadays the focus has been moved from carbohydrate to protein.
Yes.
It's a general, yes, it has it's a knowledge that has been spread that it is protein, right? So it is not like that. It is the carbohydrate which is the hero in an athlete's plate. Most obvious distinction in nutrient needs between active and inactive is total calories. The major nutrient responsible for this increased caloric need is carbohydrate. Two sources of glucose in body for energy, circulating blood glucose and stored glycogen muscles. And 1 gram of carbohydrate gives 4 calories of energy. Tell me the examples of some carbohydrate food, rich food.
Rice.
Rice, potatoes, tapioca, sugarcane, wheat, yes, wheat.
Idli, dosa, rice, whatever.
Everything made with these staple items. You missed a group. You mentioned about roots and tubers, cereals and grains, sugars you mentioned. Still missing a group.
Stem.
Milk has everything, but what is it?
Dairy
Carbohydrate.
products also has carbohydrates. Okay. Lactose. It is in the form of lactose. Cereals. It is just coincide with the cereal, a group.
Millets.
Yes,
Millets, yeah.
We should not forget that. This year is the International Millet Year, and we were in the habit of taking millets in our staple diet rather than the cereals. But now, for longer time, we have forgotten this name from our diet. Tell me the examples of some millets.
Ragi,
bajra,
bajra,
Yes.
maize.
corn.
What is the nutrition significance of millets? Why is it both cereals and millets give carbs? Then why?
Millets will take long time to digest. If we take little itself, stomach will be filled.
Yes, micronutrients. It has got micronutrients like B vitamins because cereals we usually dehusk and use. Millets we don't use that. Ragi we use as such. The outer covering is grinded along with it. So B vitamins, fibers, soluble fibers. Because when we have millets, it takes longer time to release the sugars in it. That we can instantly say when we chew rice, we get the sugar taste easily. So, but when we take ragi and that sugar taste comes into our mouth very slowly. So there is slow release of glucose. So carbohydrate rich is, so the athlete's plate should contain more carbohydrate, means which all food should be there. The roots, sweet potato can be given, 4 to 5 chapatis can be given, and it can be like chapatis made with millets and cereals. A 3:1 ratio can be given, like 3 portion of wheat, 1 portion of millets, 1 portion of little millet, kodo millet, anything. So it becomes nutritious. This is a study, like you can see 3 plots. The larger one is people with larger amount of carbohydrate intake, athlete with larger amount of carbohydrate, and moderate and smaller. You can see the muscle glycogen depletion along with the time. So as we have got more amount of carbohydrate stored in our body, the depletion will be very less. So when we compare 2 athletes onto the ground who have one with lower intake and another with larger intake, which person gets fatigued fast?
Lower intake.
Lower intake. That's why we focus here on the pre-training food. So before the training itself, we'll ask them to have, let's 30 to 40 minutes prior, a small snack that is rich in carbohydrate. So this depletion can be delayed. If it happens in 30 minutes and if we give them a snack, it might happen at 45 to 50 minutes. So this depletion can be delayed with the carbohydrate intake. Now there's another term called hit the wall. That is, hit the wall means this is a condition where the athletes get totally fatigued because every stores of the energy getting depleted. So he can't move a step forward. So in order to prevent this hit the wall, we are focusing on this pre-training food, pre-workout food. So it is very beneficial to delay the onset of fatigue and prevent the condition called skip the fall, that is a totally drain out condition. Yes, pre-workout food, it is of two types. Pre-workout meal, that is a large meal taken before 3 hours of a competition or a training, or a pre-workout snack taken before 40 minutes. So pre-workout snacks, examples are oats, a banana, a fruit smoothie. Fruit smoothie means fruit mixed with milk, like a shake. Sweet potato, whole grain bread, anything. These are all sources of carbohydrates. So when a pre-workout food is taken with the carbohydrate, it delays the onset of fatigue. These are the carbohydrate rich foods like pastas. As I have said, in Western countries it will be pastas and all. Next is, we just refresh the 3 points: refuel, rebuild. Refuel we just saw. Next is the rebuild. Rebuilding means to minimize the wear and tear process. Which nutrient will be functional for it?
Protein.
Protein. Okay. What are the other functions of protein? Generally, growth. Growth and development. Yes, growth and development. So it is very essential for the kids, right? So for adults, when the growth is stopped, then what is the need of protein?
Energy.
Energy. Only when carbohydrate is not there, it will be utilized for energy. Yes. Wear and tear. Okay, wear and tear. That's why the adult needs protein. So this is a basic function.
Hormonal balance. For hormonal balance is very
Hormonal, yes, hormonal, because many of the hormones are protein in nature. All the enzymes and secretions in the body are protein in nature. Very good. So for the proper secretion, we need protein. For the proper functioning of the body. These are examples of protein. Generally, protein-rich foods are relished by everyone. Non-vegetarian, egg, milk. Tell me some examples of vegetable protein.
number 1 soya bean.
Paneer.
Yes, soya.
Most important.
Soya bean, vegetable protein.
Tofu.
Beans.
Tofu is a product made from soy.
Paneer.
Rajma. Okay.
Dry fruits.
Paneer is a good source of vegetable protein.
Yeah.
Because whenever we speak about protein, the non-vegetarian items comes into our mind. That's why I just wanted to brush up this.
Soya milk.
Sprout.
Soy milk, okay.
Sprout.
Yogurt.
Yes, yogurt,
Sprout.
sprouts,
Dry fruits.
dry fruits, and all varieties of fish also.
Yes.
Fish. It's a very good source of
Red
protein.
meat.
Red meat, okay. Then fat. So nowadays whenever we speak about the term fat, it's like what comes into our mind?
Cholesterol.
Cholesterol. Cholesterol is the term that comes in with the blood reports and everything comes to you. No, fat is a good person. You don't have to take him so dangerously. It's a good person. It's a dense source of energy because 1 gram of protein and carbohydrate gives 4 calories. But fat, when we eat 1 gram, it gives 9 calories. Right? So that's why we add 1 teaspoon of ghee to children's porridges.
Yeah.
Right? It gives more energy. With 1 teaspoon, it gives about
9 grams.
yes, 1 gram will give you 9 calories. So to make a food nutrient dense or energy dense, we can have this, and it's very tasty too, right? Having a butter on chapatis, and it's very tasty. So it gives energy. Then for immune system we need it, and for the structural composition, all the internal organs are covered with fat, and also for thermoregulation, to balance our temperature, we need fat, because very lean persons find it very difficult to survive in very cold areas and all. So for thermoregulation we need fat. So we cannot avoid him, but we should limit it. Only that is. Okay. Normal fat sources in our daily diet is oil. Oil also vary from region to region. Then butter, cheese, nuts are also good source of protein. Fish also gives fats. Red meat contains fat. Okay, I think you got an idea about it. Now this is a proportion that should be maintained in an athlete's diet. That is carbohydrate, it shouldn't go below 55%. Although these 3 factors gives energy, but we should depend upon carbohydrate as a source of energy. That is 55% of the meal should contain carbohydrate, protein it should be 15 to 20%, fat 20 to 30%. This is an ideal composition, but this also varies when an athlete is on a weight management diet. So it all varies. This is a general concept. Now we saw these three macronutrients, carbohydrate, fat, and then there were two micronutrients which is needed in very small amount. These were vitamins and minerals. And vitamin, there are two types, fat soluble and water soluble. Tell me the examples of fat soluble vitamins. Yes, A, D, E, K. These are the vitamins which will be absorbed in our, transported in our body only with the help of the fat. So we cannot avoid fat fully. B and C are water soluble vitamins, and there are minerals like calcium, iron, magnesium, zinc, sodium, potassium, etc. Now we move to the term sports anemia. You can see the two blood samples. In one there is dense RBCs, red blood cells. In the other cases the number of RBC is less. So that condition is known as, generally it is anemia. Like for every person we term it anemia, but for an athlete we say that this is a sports anemia because in athlete has more chances of getting anemia because there is poor iron absorption due to the intense workout. Chances of poor iron absorption, loss of iron through sweat is more. Then gastrointestinal blood losses, there will be rupture of membranes, there is chances of blood losses and destruction of RBCs. So these are the factors that makes an athlete more prone to become anemic than a normal individual. So we have to take this point into consideration, the sports anemia, and that's why the diet of an athlete should contain very iron-rich foods. Just change. These are the symptoms of anemia. How can we diagnose? We can diagnose through blood reports, but by seeing the symptoms, we can also identify sports anemia. Like athletes with iron deficiency have some symptoms such as diminished performance, palpitation means increased heart rate, increased heartbeats, palpitation, dyspnea means shortness of breath, breathlessness, a condition of breathlessness, then fatigue, general tiredness and weakness. These are the symptoms of anemia. Okay, so how to overcome this sports anemia, we have to make the diet very much rich in iron-rich foods. Tell me the iron-rich foods. Yeah, exactly.
Drumstick, leaf, juice, soup,
Yes,
drumstick.
leafy vegetables. Drumstick is rich in iron.
Then raisin, black raisin,
Black raisins, dried grapes,
yes. Dates,
dates, palak. Anything else?
then
Grandma's kitchen recipes, anything?
then goat leg soup.
Okay. Liver is the best source. Then gingerly seeds. What do you say?
Sesame seeds.
Sesame seeds. That is gingerly seeds.
Laddu or oil we can.
Yes, sesame seeds. Sesame laddus are very rich source of
Black
iron.
seeds.
So these are the iron-rich foods. So the plate of an athlete should contain iron-rich foods. Plus, for the proper absorption of iron, we need
Vitamin D3.
vitamin C.
C.
Vitamin C.
So, vitamin C plus protein. As sir said, protein, we combine term hemoglobin. Hem is the iron part, globin is the protein part. So, to combine it, when we take iron-rich foods, along with it, protein should also be adequate, plus vitamin C, plus folic acid. Folic acid means all the green leafy vegetables and yellow orange colored fruits and vegetables has folic acid. Okay, so only when we take iron-rich foods, protein, vitamin C and folic acid, iron will be properly absorbed into our body. Okay, this is a diet therapy that we give for an athlete when we find that he is anemic. And this gives like very much improvement in their performances in certain. When we go for diet therapy, it takes 1 or 2 months, like not like the supplements, like medicines. But when it starts functioning, they themselves feel that it's very worthy because their performance, concentration. Otherwise, they have some irritability and all. They may not be knowing what is the reason. restlessness, sleeplessness, all because of this deficiency of this micronutrients. Symptoms. In the picture you can see every organ get disturbed. Respiratory, that is shortness of breath, then fainting and fatigue, heart, then spleen, digestion, muscle pains, skin becomes yellowing. The paleness can be seen by the clinical symptoms. Paleness happens. Yes, we missed this postgram and all, right? Postgram. It's a lentil used. These are rich in iron. Okay. Next is sports anemia is a general problem, dietary problem that affects the athletes. Next is called the relative energy deficiency. We know that for children, they need energy for their growth, energy for their vital functions like beating of. Even when we are sitting, no, we need energy. Why?
A muscle works.
Organs are functioning.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So the energy needed for that is known as basal metabolic rate (BMR). So we need energy for the basal metabolic rate. We need energy for exercises. For children, they need energy for growth. So all these should get it from the food. So if the energy intake is less when compared to their expenditure, what happens?
They'll become weak.
What gets compromised?
Obesity.
Stored glycogen will be converted.
Their physiological functions get compromised. They somehow manage to do the activities.
Yeah.
Because of their mindset, they have to win or they have to play. They somehow manage to do the activities, but their physiological process gets compromised.
Yeah.
They might have hormonal issues. Their bone health declines. And all
Triads.
physiological functions. So when this energy deficiency continues for a longer period, for instantly it doesn't give any trouble. It goes like that. But when it continues for longer period, for 3 months and all, slowly their physiological functions get down and they'll reach up to a condition where they cannot perform anymore. So the reason behind is that they were on this energy deficiency for a longer time. So we have to calculate the energy, and to meet that energy is very important, otherwise it leads to a condition known as energy deficiency. This is the symptoms, what all functions gets impaired. Almost every body functions gets impaired due to this energy deficiency. Now this is a term called eating in sync with their training program. In some days they might have hard training, another day it will be moderate, another day it will be very low intensity training. So the composition of the food varies. Now this is an example of hard training. You can see half of the plate is filled with carbohydrates, staple. Then 1/4 with protein, 1/4 with fruits and vegetables. Next, this is the plate of a moderate training day. What change happened? What does the change happen?
The proportion has.
The proportion has changed. What has changed? The protein is still remaining the same.
Yes. Carbo has.
Carbs, because when we say that it is moderate training or intense training, the variation is in the energy need. So the energy nutrient has to be fluctuated, not anything else. So we have just decreased the amount of energy needed, that the carbohydrate portion is reduced. Not half, it is almost 1/4. That's all. This is the training, the easy training day or a weight management. Here, the portion size of carbs is reduced to 1/4. 1/4. The protein remains unchanged, but half of the plate is filled with fiber-rich fruits and vegetables, calorie-less items. Because on that day, we are not ready to spend more energy. What happens if the intake is more and expenditure is very less?
Obesity.
In the form of fats.
Yes, it gets deposited in our body, like what we do when we have excess amount of money.
Yes. We'll store it.
We store it and fix a deposit, interest and interest, it grows. Same way, when the body has more intake than the expenditure, the body knows only one thing to do, to store it as fat. Okay. Next important factor is the last one we saw in that nutrients, water, hydration. It's very important for an athlete. Effect of dehydration. Dehydration can cause performance impairment for endurance athletes. Typically, the more dehydrated, greater chance of performance decrements. 2% body mass loss during exercise is the threshold when performance can be impacted. If we weigh an athlete before and after the workout, there will be some changes in their weight, maybe change of 1 kilogram or 0.5 kilogram, etc. That change happens due to the loss of sweat, water from the body. Some athletes can tolerate slightly greater losses and some can tolerate less. Practicing hydration strategies is a key to endurance athletes to find out what is tolerable for each athlete. Move. This is a study done, like the lower axis shows the degree of dehydration. As the degree of dehydration increases, the performance decreases. Like whatever study has been done, like in 2% of dehydration, out of the 26 study done, 14 had impairment of performance. Like as the dehydration, like 5%, dehydration increases to 5%. Out of the 5 studies done, 4 studies showed that there is relationship between dehydration and athletic performance. So it is very important to keep the hydration level. These are the effects of dehydration. It affects like as the degree increases, the severity of the symptoms increases. Like it leads to a stage like total fatigue happens. He cannot concentrate. Like we say that an athlete shouldn't wait for thirst to occur. Like even if they feel thirsty or not, they should continuously have the intake of water. And not only water, because not only water is lost, all the salt is also lost.
Yeah.
So it is better to take some
Juice.
like natural lemonades with salt and sugar, ORS or any electrolyte, any such solutions. That will have very good effect on their performance.
Madam, do you recommend that sports drinks and all that?
From good brands it is good, like carbohydrate drinks are there. And the thing is that every sports drink, it is not electrolyte.
Okay.
There are carbohydrate drinks as well as electrolyte. So the person should identify his needs.
Okay.
Only then it works out.
How he will identify?
Because if the climate is very humid or very hot, what he needs is electrolyte.
Electrolytes, yeah. Fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So only it is need based. Only that is given, it gives a better result. Change. Signs of dehydration is dizziness, fatigue, then darker shades of urine, then muscle cramps, dry mouth. So we used to say that they shouldn't wait for these symptoms to occur, because once the thirst occurs, dehydration has already set in. Because the brain, when the brain gives the sensation of thirst, it happens, right? So we shouldn't wait for thirst to occur. We should continuously set the like some ORS or natural sources of salts. This is a simple chart where each individual can identify whether they are hydrated or dehydrated. This is monitoring the color of the urine. As the paleness increases, we can say that we are hydrated. When it is concentrated, it goes to darker side. So this is another condition known as hyponatremia. Natremia means sodium. Another name of sodium is natria. So when we all said that along with water, salts are also lost. So it is important to keep the salts also back. So rather than simply taking larger bottles of water, it is good to take some like even
Pickle is one of that, right?
pickle.
Salt content is
But for an athlete, it is nice to take salts along with water.
okay, fine.
It replaces both.
No. Pickle not recommended then.
No, that cannot be given.
Okay.
It gives only sodium.
Okay.
Sodium and potassium should be given.
Okay.
Tender coconut water is a good choice. Then
Potassium
normal
means banana.
rice water, kanji vella with salt,
Yeah.
buttermilk, lemonade with salt and sugar.
Yeah.
That can be given. Then the term doping. I think this is also familiar with everyone.
Yes.
The use of some performance enhancing substances which are banned by organizations like IOC, international organizations. Like why this is banned?
This enhances your performance.
Abnormal performance, higher performance.
That is good, no?
No, ma'am, that's it.
No,
That is good,
it
no?
hurts the athlete. It hurts for
Yes.
maybe
Like the person itself gets
it affects his kidney.
side effects are there for the persons for longer term use. Then
It becomes a example for many people, and then we will lose the good performer at the earliest.
yes,
Ah.
that's correct. Then also it loses the spirit of sports.
Yeah.
Right. So these are the two reasons why this nowadays doping, this test, anti-doping tests are very essential now. It is being practiced everywhere. It is not easy to betray them.
There are players becoming addicted to it, and
Yes.
they are more prone to it, prone into that part
Yes.
than
Rather than the normal training,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't know how to win in a systematic manner.
and it's very hard to treat them. Recently, I came across one swimmer who was very good at swimming. Once he started taking this, now his parents are not able to control him. He doesn't stay at home at all.
Oh.
He goes, he takes it and comes, and now his academic is also gone and his sports activity is also gone.
Totally addicted to it.
And people want to correct him, they are not able to do it. The whole family is crying for him. He's just 19-year-old.
It ruins the person, right?
Yeah.
So there are now agencies like WADA, NADA and all who works behind this doping, like they also promote the idea that it shouldn't be done. Now just a view that how here we form the diet plan for an athlete. We go through the anthropometric. Here we have got instruments like bioimpedance analysis. We can it gives the full data where the whether the person has got excess fat mass, how is the skeletal muscle mass, where it is deposited. Such we get the data from the anthropometrical analysis. Then we go for the biochemical parameters. I told you about low level of HB, vitamin D, etc. That will be looked into, and the clinical signs and symptoms of an athlete. Then on basis of this, we format the diet. And for dietary assessment, we use 24-hour recall method. Just we make them ask them what they had yesterday. A 24-hour recall is done, and we put it into a software and we get the data. What is the current intake of protein, current intake of carbohydrate, etc. And the calories are calculated, their exercise, how much time they work out, what intensity they work out. Based on that, we calculate the exercise energy expenditure, and in that machine we get the resting energy expenditure also. This basal metabolic rate, and based on these we calculate the energy requirements, and then evaluation is done. This is how we prescribe a diet here. This is a process of diet plan we follow here, based on the anthropometrics, based on the biochemical parameters, based on their dietary record, we formulate a diet, we calculate their energy needs, and based on this the diet plan is made, and we prepare it in our mess and provide them, and we monitor them. This is how the things work here.
Yeah, we tasted the Elite Hostel.
Elite Hostel, huh?
Yeah, that's extraordinary. When they come also, they get it filled and they bring it. We really get.
We have got a specialized chef, assistant chef, and catering manager. We all work in a team to formulate their menu, and also we try hard to put it into practice also. Not planning, we plan it, execute it, and evaluate it. Okay, so it's all about, not about restrictions. Today, whatever we talked is about what to eat, not about what not to eat. Forget about not to eat.
What to eat.
Yes, what to eat is important.